A European Union plot to force a common minimum wage throughout the bloc has come under furious attack, with one MEP warning Brussels' utopia will collapse like a house of cards. Leaders throughout the European Union have clashed over Brussels' plan to introduce a standardized minimum wage across all member states. The proposal, which was introduced at the most recent EU Social Summit in Porto, was immediately rejected by Austria and Hungary because of large gaps in the level of development between the two member states. Swedish and Danish leaders have also warned they could press ahead with a move to bring the EU before the European Court of Justice over the move, citing fears over the serious consequences inflicted on their taxpayers. Now French MEP Dominique Bilder has launched a blistering attack against the EU and its minimum wage proposal, warning opposition to it is massive. In a huge swipe directed towards the EU, she during the recent Porto summit, behind the great speeches there, was nothing adding, "We are not the only ones who want to block your completely absurd European projects." Speaking to the European Parliament via video link on Wednesday, the French MEP raged, "This is unheard of. Opposition to the European minimum wage is massive. This is evidenced by the many amendments that reject this bad directive proposed by the European Commission. This is a real slap in the face to the experts of all kinds who explained to us that it would pass like a letter in the post." From left to right, the rejection of this European directive shows that the interests of nations prevail over everything else. No matter how much we tell each other stories, those of the great European myth, it's all thin air. The Porto summit was also a real eye-opener. Behind the great speeches, there was nothing. The informal declaration of 11 countries refusing further transfer of powers to the Commission came out of the blue. "We are not the only ones who want to block your completely absurd European projects," she added. "By refusing the European minimum wage, we are showing that no one is ready for the great leap forward. The social Europe so much praised by the new European converts is not based on reality. Worse, everyone knows very well that once the time for budget drafts is over, your utopia will collapse like a house of cards. The Troika will soon get into the dance, and will bring back the sweet dreamers who naively thought that the EU would not be the same as the one that bled the people during the Eurozone crisis." In a further scathing attack, Ms. Bilder said a decision must be made over how to defend our social model from the clutches of the EU. She claimed the French social model is being undermined by Europeanist wishes, delivering all our public services to the law of the market while reducing our room for maneuver. In a final rallying cry, the French MEP said, "While Europe wore a mask for several months, it hasn't really changed its face. The real question, therefore, is how to defend our social model from the clutches of the EU. This is what we have been warning for years now. The French social model is being undermined by Europeanist wishes, delivering all our public services to the law of the market while reducing our room for maneuver. We are fighting against what some thought had become inevitable. I am therefore surprised by the survival instinct of a large number of MEPs who remind us today that we do not want to Europeanize our laws, transfer powers, let the Commission act in our place." There are many amendments to justify a categorical no to this text. Regarding France, Rassemblement National had the European minimum wage as a campaign axis in 2019, and we will continue the fight until the end.